Hi, I'm Jeremiah Johnson, staff member here at Access Pinellas. This program is to celebrate the life of Nona Ward, who worked in our studios behind the camera on hundreds of shows. Sadly, Nona passed away on May 31st of this year. Last year, Access Pinellas sat down with Nona and her husband Bill for a half-hour interview. We talked about Nona's life as a young girl in Hollywood, California, her life during the Depression years, the war years, and what it was like being married to Bill Ward, one of the pioneers of television production. But most important to Nona, we talked about her love of the hula dance. In the 5 years I worked with Nona at Access Pinellas, I learned to appreciate her as a genuine person, always herself. If she had something to say, she'd say it, whether the microphone was on or not. I was on the receiving end of her sharp tongue on several occasions, but Nona could bring you up too. She wasn't afraid to laugh, and she praised people all the time. Now here's some of the highlights from our interview with Nona Ward.
I want to start with you and your early days in Hollywood. In 1915, that was the same year that D.W. Griffith made Birth of a Nation.
Mm-hmm. And Lillian Gish was in it.
Yep. And there were only 15 studios at that time. And
Well,
within 15 years, there were 800.
Well, movies were not really. And who knew a movie star, so what difference did it make?
Really?
Yeah.
So your parents didn't go out to Hollywood to be in movies?
No. My father was able to trade places with another postman who wanted to go back to Spokane, Washington. And that's how we landed in Hollywood.
But Nona, you were in Washington at the time of the Depression, correct?
Well,
Did
yeah.
you work through the Depression?
I didn't start working because I was going to college. University of Washington, go Huskies.
Okay. But what do you remember about it? Do you have any memories of the Depression years?
Yes, there was never quite enough food, never quite enough wood to keep the house warm.
Wood?
Yeah, well, sure, you had wood.
The wood stoves in the kitchens or
Yeah,
something like that?
sure.
Oh, I see.
And
How about tuition cost?
When I started at the University of Washington, I had to pay the munificent sum of $17.
I'll take it. I'll buy it. That's what
And
I want.
then-
I want an education for $17.
And then when I left, when I was graduated in '37, it had gone clear up to $21 a quarter.
You were educated at school, and Bill was in New York. And how did you two meet?
Through a friend in Washington, D.C.
Was it love at first sight?
No, not on my part.
How about you, Bill?
No.
He's 4 years younger than you. And so you were going out with a younger
But
man, which was...
he was a Marine.
So it didn't matter
you know,
that he was younger.
Do you know, when I went to Norfolk one time, I saw a sign in a park saying, "Dogs and sailors not allowed."
That was true.
And he was a Marine.
Billboard.
And
Really?
he was a Marine, that was even lower, you know. And Seattle had a port where lots of sailors came in, and I was dating a Marine.
So it was more, from my impression, it seems to me that back then women did not really date younger men in that era. Is that true?
Well, when I found out how old he was,
Yeah.
he knew how old I was before he started writing. And I kind of asked around, and in the group of ladies, no, girls, we were girls then.
Yeah.
I found that they were anywhere from 6 months to 10 years older than their boyfriends or husband, whatever.
And so when you got married, who asked who?
Oh, he asked me in a letter.
In a letter.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And I said to my best friend, I can't marry this guy. I don't know him. I'll have to tell him no. She says, don't. Say yes, get to know him, and then if you don't think it'll work, then say no.
War? Did you
No,
have
I
any
didn't
idea?
pay any attention to that. I had gone through the Depression, and here I was offered a job. I got $57.90 every 2 weeks, and I was rich. Women suddenly were needed to take over the jobs that the men had because they were now fighting. And
Were they happier working, do you think?
oh, I think so. Gave you something to do, And I know a lot of mothers felt that anything that they could do would be helping their son overseas, like the women that folded parachutes, because they would look at that parachute and say, maybe my son will need this. I better be sure it's done correctly. I was so worried one day. I said, I haven't heard from Bill. I'm just so worried. And he said, Nona, the bullet hasn't been made that will kill Bill.
What was it like to have him underfoot all day when he...
That's just right. No, it was nice because then we could relax and do things that we like to do. No longer did we get up at 3:30 in the morning so Bill could get to work by 4:30.
You were teaching too, weren't you?
I did teach some hula classes for a while.
That seems so exotic. Is that why you chose?
No, I had had a few lessons once before, and because a friend said, you'll like it. And I did like it, but I couldn't do anything with it until this opportunity presented itself. And I enjoyed it so much.
And you recently had an anniversary?
Yes.
And how many years was that? I could do the math, but it's easier.
Well, it was 61.
We have a picture of the anniversary, and you do have a lei on, as I recall. I want to get to that hula dancing before we end the show today. We do have a member of our crew, Karina, who is a hula teacher as well. There we go. There's the music. And Karina will begin, and Nona will teach me. Now, what is this song?
But first, put your hands in this position. Don't put your hands too far, because you overbalance yourself. And think of the waves. Just do a couple of them. Then trade to the other side. And remember to keep your hand in the middle because you're overbalancing.
I see. I'm not doing the hip stuff though, which I'm sure is very important.
No.
Bill, why are you not doing this?
And so here we are coming in. I will remember you.
Last year, Nona received the Gladys Oaks Lifetime Achievement Award for her work at Access Pinellas. In recognizing the passing of Nona Ward, our friend, the loss is even deeper because with Nona's passing, we also lose her husband, Bill, to California, where he will be living with his family. Thank you for watching.
Make your own shows. We'll teach you how. Check it out. Knology Channel 21. The station where you make the shows.
The magic of TV is real.
Our programs are only to help people.
Access Pinellas has opened so many doors for me in my life.
Call 727-453-3057 or visit our website at accesspinellas.org.